AT&T. Shout out to Lakers star Luka Doncic. Doncic donated $5,000 to cover the entire cost of restoring a mural in downtown LA featuring Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi. The mural, designed on a building on the corner of 14th and Main Street, was vandalized over the weekend. As for the Clippers, they forgot to bring their defense to Denver, especially when it came to defending Jamal Murray. Murray lit up the Clippers with 43 points in a 131-115 win. Denver now has a 3-2 lead in the series. They can eliminate the Clippers in Game 6 Thursday night at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the flames subside, who ensures that the stories endure? At KBLA Talk 1580, we're committed to preserving the voices that shape our community. We know people have short memories, and as long as this Black Talk radio station is on the air, we will not let Altadena be forgotten. We are honored to announce that the Altadena Historical Society will officially archive our recent town hall, alongside every episode of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This is the show of record, the definitive source for tracking Altadena's roots, resilience, recovery, and reunion. These stories will now live on for students, scholars, researchers, and journalists seeking truth and legacy in the months and years to come. Because history isn't just made, it's honored, it's recorded, and it's passed forward. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Super good. Inglewood. Purple rain falling down on the prince of the coast where the sun shine all year round. Purple haze over landscape, still I hydrate in the lunch line with the smog and clouds. Would start me out. This song's in the key of life, and love is in need of more. Young from Inglewood, barefoot on the cedar floor. If black music is the blood, then my heart has been beating more. Rapidly, happily, I look back on a Phoenix Shakur. Her son paved the way. Now all eyes on me, cause I'm young, black, and gifted. Nina, all eyes gon' see. If you swung back when faced with a challenge that's meant to break you and balance scales, you ain't average, now throw your hands on 3. Gon' put them up for black magic,
black excellence, black habits, this black medicine, everything
black chuck, everything.
Everything
black hug, black love, everything.
Praise black Jesus, play black Moses. Give them flowers while they still give black roses. Everything
black tie, black ride, everything.
Everything
black pride, black lives, everything.
Everything.
Skin noir, friends noir, here you are.
Black.
Everything you
KBLA
need,
Talk 1580.
Noir,
Black.
noir,
Everyone's welcome, but it's the Black House for show. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Look, while Judge Mablean Ephraim makes her way here, let's talk and get a bit of an update on what's going on around and about the country and the globe. And I'm inviting you in, as usual, 800-920-1580. All comers. I love that we started our day today talking about Malcolm X. I hope to be talking a lot about him as we move towards his 100th heavenly birthday on May 19th. Today, as we mentioned earlier, there are rallies and protests in support of Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso that are going to be taking place throughout Africa, but also throughout the United States, as there's an eye on what's happening there. It's so interesting the way the Western press is reporting this, because Burkina Faso and Traore have been fighting against some of these militant Islamic groups that the United States claims to hate, but yet they also are not supporting the fight against these groups because of the I guess governance style, the anti-Western rhetoric, perhaps, of this, what they call a transitional president. And so I think it's interesting that folks are preemptively taking a position to protect this man, given that Western military leadership has already taken to publicly criticizing him. They call him a junta leader, and there was a coup attempt a couple weeks ago, maybe about a little over a week ago, which you don't know if that's, is that driven by these Islamic jihadist forces, sort of or is it Western interference, which is what Ibrahim Traore says. But in any case, folks are preemptively standing in advance, standing up. They claim, Traore claims, the goal of this coup was to sow chaos. He says, sow total chaos and place the country under the supervision of an international organization, that they plan to swarm the presidential palace a couple weeks ago on April 16th, and that was actually foiled. But if you think about it, it's all of these West African nations which have traditionally been colonized by the French, which have paid reparations, continue to pay reparations today, right now, pay money out of their own coffers to the French, who are now being kicked out, at least in Burkina Faso and Niger. So it's Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso that have been fighting some of these terror groups that are part of Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State group. And they have, all three of those nations have kicked the French out of this region of West Africa. So now the Western powers are angry because they don't like the French being kicked out. They'll say it's because it's a coup and that it's a junta or a transitional government, not democratically elected. But yet we pick and choose which coups we're okay with. If you look at the coup that happened during, in Honduras, for example, that happened during the Obama administration when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, we decided to look the other way, even though the coup there overthrew a democratically elected government and installed a leader. We were not okay. We were okay with that. For some reason, we looked the other way. Well, what was it? 10 years later, it turns out that guy who overthrew the government was the brother of the head of a major drug cartel in Honduras. Now we wonder why Hondurans are fleeing, even children unaccompanied, coming to this country for something we decided to look the other way and allow to happen. But yet, when these African nations finally say, okay, we want to kick out the French, we're not okay with that. And it is a complicated dynamic because now you have Russia moving in there and some of the Russian mercenary groups coming in to aid these West African emerging governments. I say all that to say there's plenty of reason for people around the world to be paying attention and looking at what is happening, what's happening in terms of will Western powers step up and try to expel this man. The U.S. economy shrinking in the first quarter, not great news. Maybe that's why. Maybe the White House saw some of these numbers in advance and started backing off of the tariffs because it seems to be the tariffs that are causing these problems, disrupting economic growth. The gross domestic product went down 0.3% for the first 3 years of months of the year. It's a big turnaround in the negative because this administration, as much as we were dealing with inflation and as much as they wanted to lie about what Biden did and did not accomplish, they actually inherited a very healthy economy, an economy that actually expanded 2.4%. That was the rate of expansion by the end of the year. Now it's just down to 0.3. That's a big drop. And the tariffs have hardly even hit yet. I believe that is why The president is backing down now, talking about modifying the tariffs on cars, which were meant to be at 10%. The president celebrating his first 100 days in office with a rally in Michigan. Wow. A state that he'll need if he wants to defy the Constitution and run in 2028, which it appears he does. He's got the Trump 2028 hats out. As I've said before, I think the Diet Coke and Burger King is going to render him unavailable to campaign in 2028, but he thinks differently, and he's clearly serious about it. So he had a rally in Michigan to celebrate his 100 days of destruction, and he says that they've delivered the most profound change in Washington in 100 years. For once, I agree with the president, but I just don't think it was for the positive. So we agree and we disagree. 100 days in, the damage is widespread. Back to what we were talking about, accountability, lying. Well, Judge Mablean Ephraim is always good with accountability. Can't wait to talk to her. The president is saying that this guy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, has MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. He keeps saying that. Of course, he's happy to lie. He clashed with a ABC News reporter about whether or not he had this on his knuckles. And it turns out that image that he shared on his social media platform was photoshopped and was not a real image. But the president is going to insist. He'll insist when the photo directly contradicts what he says, because enough people believe him that why should he have to verify? But I do think the people are waking up. The price of eggs hasn't come down. The billionaires are making more money. If it keeps on like this, you don't need a deep analysis to know that this is not going the way that you had hoped it would. The Los Angeles Times taking a huge hit. Apparently, a lot of subscribers have dropped. According to Adweek, the LA Times has lost $50 million in 2024 because advertisers and subscribers are leaving. And I have said that I would if it wasn't my job, because of the rightward bent of the South African-born billionaire who owns that, his decision not to endorse in the presidential race against the advice of his editorial board, and more. So certainly, other people are making their voices heard. And to me, these are the signs of resistance. It's not just the marching. It's the hit that Target is taking for moving off of DEI. It's the hit that the LA Times is taking for not endorsing and making stupid decisions, politically biased decisions. The people are speaking and pushing back. The overreach is real. And like I keep saying, as much as I tell you everything that's going wrong, we will win. Judge Mablean Ephraim is in the building. Looking forward to this conversation. She's honoring fathers, and she's always saying the quiet part out loud, speaking truth, whether we're listening or not. So let's listen. I'm so looking forward to the conversation. I'm Dominique DiPrima. I'm welcoming you in. 800-920-1580. We are unapologetically outspoken, unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality, because this is it. Every day, you wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial, because yes it is. Don't stay in bargaining, where you're praying for a miracle, and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is, we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Baby!
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. With so many shows on our station weekdays and weekends, it's hard for me to keep track of all the guests who are actually in studio on any given day. I wish any conflict of interest criminals managing the people's business inside LA City Hall. But we also don't want selective or targeted prosecution of black politicians. We've seen that movie before, and we don't need a sequel. It's hard to watch Kevin De Leon get away with paying an $18,000 fine for repeated ethics violations, what he calls an oversight, and at the same time, watch the DA's office continue its criminal prosecution of Kern Price for issues allegedly involving his wife's clients. Motions, I might add, that were passed unanimously by the LA City Councilman. What are you saying, Tavis? I'm glad you asked. D.A. Hochman did not start this inquisition, but he certainly has the power to stop it. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Fundamental fairness. In the absence of fundamental fairness, we experience a cascade of deteriorating conditions. The erosion of trust, the weakening of social cohesion, alienation, marginalization, the legitimacy of authority diminishes, cynicism and disengagement grow. And ultimately, people abandon civic participation altogether. Fundamental fairness, Mr. Hochman, that's all we ask. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. I'm excited because the judge is in the house. And we talk. We have a history of doing these shows, talking off and on the air. She is a TV star, but not just that. She's a lawyer, began her career as a prosecutor. You know what? I told my other judge friend she was my only prosecutor friend, but I was wrong. I forgot you started as a prosecutor in the criminal division of the Office of the City Attorney. And she also, you know her, of course, as a television star, TV judge, divorce court, justice with Judge Mablean. But really quite a robust legal portfolio. It's not like you just were judge for 10 minutes and then went on TV. You're a practicing attorney.
I am 48 years in law.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how you do that at 25.
I don't mean
Judge
48
Mablean.
years. Yeah, 48 years this year.
Wow, congratulations.
No, I can't count. 1978, 45 years this year. Come on now, what is it?
You know what? Miles, you're good at math. She started in
This is
1978. How long has she been?
47 years. Yes.
Wow, congratulations. That's serious business.
And I'm someone is nominating me to the National Bar Association Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I hope I get accepted.
You better get accepted. Like, if you can't get in there, who can?
I don't know. But, the National Bar is lawyers across the nation. And believe it or not, Black lawyers across the nation are doing some great and wonderful things and have done some great and wonderful things. So, the National Bar Association is Fred Gray, who was Rosa Parks' attorney, who was the civil rights attorney, so we have people like that in the National Bar Association.
Yeah.
So, but I think I've made a mark on
You sure have.
The judicial system and justice.
In ways seen and unseen.
Yes.
I love that you say that Black lawyers are getting it done right now, because I think about, Letitia James in New York.
Well, but it was the Black lawyers. Remember now, it was the Black lawyers who started the entire movement in terms of civil rights. It was the Black lawyers who represented Rosa Parks, and it was the Thurgood Marshall. It was all of them. So we've been there fighting in the forefront. And Letitia James is the Black lawyer who tackled Trump when everybody else was just like pushing him, afraid. But she's like, I got you. And, now
they're attacking her, and she's still not scared.
And she knew she would have repercussions, but she was bold enough and courageous enough to say, I'm going to do this. That's what bothers me about the Senate and the House of Representatives. It's like you have all of these elected officials. Donald Trump didn't elect any of you.
Right.
Elected officials, elected by the people, for the people. You promised them certain things that you would do for them in office, and they should be held accountable. And they're so weak. Letitia James stood up to him, and you got 100, 200 some people were afraid to stand up to him. And he's one man. I don't understand. I really don't understand. And it's puzzling me and upsetting me that all of those all of our elected officials in Congress will allow him to do what he's doing.
Honestly, it's puzzling me too. And the universities, a lot of the universities just rolling over.
But I'm still trying to figure out legally what's his authority that he could do what he did to a university like Harvard and say, we're going to stop your funding. And I guess it's the federal funds that they give to the universities, like financial aid, the financial aid they give
and
through
research.
The federal funds.
A lot of it is
and the research study. That's just absolutely
Alzheimer's,
ridiculous.
They're studying cancer, cures and stuff like that. That's what he's cutting off. But I think your question about how he has a legal authority, because they're basing it on their having say-so over the curriculum.
Right.
And their DEI programs. Mm-hmm. That's a private university.
Those are
how
private
is the
universities.
Federal government legally allowed? You don't know.
I don't believe they are. I don't understand the law. The way I understand the law, they're not allowed to go into their curricula like that and to tell them what they can teach. But if no one challenges you when you're a person of authority like Trump, he has all of that authority, and left unchallenged, he's unhinged.
Okay.
And so that's why people are bold enough to finally challenge him in the system. But what he did was stack the deck at the Supreme Court.
But Judge, Your Honor, I mean, they told him to stop sending those Venezuelans to El Salvador and bring them back, and he's not even listening to
and require due
them.
process. Right?
What happens when the president defies the Supreme Court, the highest law of the land?
I don't know. We're gonna find out. Well, apparently nothing, because they clearly issued the order that said bring them back, and that you were wrong about sending them without due process. Which I was like, How does he just automatically get up and hire people and say, go get them off the streets, go get them off the streets, and put them on a bus and take them, put them on a plane and take them? That is absurd. You can't do that. And then he's doing the same thing, terminating civil servants. Civil servants have a right to due process. There is a process before a civil servant is terminated from their job. And all of a sudden they're terminated because he says, fire them. He and his crony.
So what I thought was that they're firing those people, even if they have to bring them back, they'll be gone for a while. Maybe the department won't even exist anymore. So I kind of figured that the courts would rein them in, but it would be too late.
Not only will it be, the courts will rein them in, but the people in the meanwhile have to look for another job and get hired somewhere. And they can't get unemployment because he's going to stop that. Usually when you're terminated, it makes you eligible for unemployment benefits, but he's concerned about people misusing unemployment benefits, so he's not going to allow them to get unemployment benefits. You're talking about terminating people's livelihoods. People can't pay a mortgage. People can't send their children to school. They can't pay the rent. They can't buy food. That is crazy.
Well, the thing that I don't get is how is that going to help the economy? That's going to make you look terrible as a president because people are losing their jobs right and left. Inflation is still high.
And if you don't have any money, how you going to spend? And if you don't spend, how does the economy grow?
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. I don't know who is his economist and who is telling him that these are good things to do. But yes, he'll bring the people back eventually. I believe, I have enough faith in the Supreme Court to say that no, those civil servants cannot be terminated without a fair hearing.
But if the Supreme Court says, look, bring the people back, just like they said, don't send the people to Venezuela, and he doesn't do it.
And he ignores it.
I mean, who would be the enforcement arm?
There is no one else.
I had one lawyer tell me the executive branch is the enforcement arm. Is that true?
The executive branch is the enforcement arm. So yes, but the executive branch
is the president.
The executive branch is the U.S. attorneys and those people that work for him.
Right.
But they work for him.
Right.
They're not going to do anything. They're not going to file anything.
Is this a flaw in our system?
It was not a flaw in the system. The system worked very well. It's a flaw now in our people who have elected someone of his character and who's allowing him to do this. That's where the flaw is. The flaw is in all of those legislators that are sitting there and allowing him to do this. That's the flaw.
Talking with Judge Mablean. Ephraim, when we come back after news, traffic, and sports, we're going to talk about honoring fathers, all the things. You have an opportunity, actually, to honor a loved one. I'll tell you about that. Father's Day is right around the corner, and we're making it plain around here. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Former North Carolina NAACP leader Reverend William Barber was arrested at the U.S. Capitol for praying against potential cuts to social programs. He and 2 other ministers were charged with misdemeanor crowding, obstructing, and incommoding. New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced a $331 million investment for a universal after-school program, expanding free activities to 20,000 more students over 3 years, aiming for 184,000 K-8 children served by fall 2027. It doesn't seem there will be another extension to the May 7th Real ID deadline. The Trump administration says all states will need to comply by then. And severe weather in Pittsburgh caused power outages to over 400,000 homes and businesses with 70-mile-per-hour winds and tornado warnings. 2 deaths are reported, including a man electrocuted by live wires. Get BIN News on demand and on the iHeartRadio app.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. and their weight. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's NBA teams are facing elimination from the playoffs in their next game. The Lakers need to bring it tonight in Game 5 against Minnesota. The Timberwolves lead the best-of-7 series 3-1. If the Lakers lose, this will be the second straight year they have been eliminated in the first round. 7 p.m. tip-off on TNT. Shout out to Lakers star Luka Doncic. Doncic donated $5,000 to cover the entire cost of restoring a mural in downtown LA featuring Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi. The mural, designed on a building on the corner of 14th and Main Street, was vandalized over the weekend. As for the Clippers, they forgot to bring their defense to Denver, especially when it came to defending Jamal Murray. Murray lit up the Clippers with 43 points in a 131-115 win. Denver now has a 3-2 lead in the series. They can eliminate the Clippers in Game 6 Thursday night at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
The Comedy Connection series featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number, because Ray, he's going to text it live, and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
KBLA Talk 1580 and the California Black Chamber of Commerce invite you to the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. Get certified and register as a new bidder. Sell products and services to the state. Learn about pre-bid events and more, and it's all free. All you have to do is sign up at www.calbcc.org. That's www.calbcc.org. Registration for the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, begins at 9 a.m. and the workshop concludes at 1 p.m. on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. This is a community call to action from the California Black Chamber of Commerce and KBLA Talk 1580. We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
We're here with Judge Mablean Ephraim. We got a lot to talk about. I love that you honor the black lawyers, and that's such an inspiration to you. People don't know. They know you from TV. Mm-hmm. They don't know that off the air, you are a real live, whole woman activist.
Yes. I enjoy life, and I decided I wanted to be a lawyer in the 8th grade.
Wow.
And at that time was when the civil rights movement was at its height. And I noticed that all of the change was being made through lawyers. And that's where, representing Rosa Parks, Fred Gray. And
you said he was your hero.
Yes. And I'm watching this on television. I get to be a lawyer. I become a member of the National Bar Association. And I meet all these wonderful people. I meet Thurgood Marshall. I meet Fred Gray. I met just wonderful people that have done a lot in the civil rights movement, as well as today, even today, they're just heavy hitters. And so I'm excited. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I love that frame, and it's a good reminder because we have even more courageous black lawyers today probably than ever.
Yes, starting with Letitia James.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, one of my personal favorites also.
Yes.
So talk to me about the Huff Awards, honoring unsung fathers. You've made it your mission, and it was logical kind of coming out of the divorce court imaging and, for you to honor fathers, single fathers, not single fathers, fathers at large.
You remember, huh?
Yes.
Yes. What happened is I was blessed to have a wonderful father, and I was blessed to have 5 brothers who all became wonderful fathers. I was blessed to grow up in a church here in Los Angeles, Emmanuel Church of God in Christ at 33rd and Compton Avenue. And my pastor then was Bishop Samuel Crouch. That church was a great example of families. It was a family life. We saw mother, father, and children walk into church together, from the younger marriages all the way up to the seniors. We saw examples of men pulling out chairs and taking off coats and just treating their women with so much love. And we saw mothers and fathers with their children together. That's what we saw. That was my example. That's what I saw every Sunday, every time the church door opened. And in my community, it was mothers and fathers. It was 2-parent households. It was mothers and fathers. And so I looked around as a divorce lawyer, and I was handling all of these cases of divorce, of course. And at that time, the attitude about fathers were, okay, they can get custody of their children on the weekend. Weekend? What are you talking about, weekend dad? Who came up with this theory that fathers are only supposed to see the children on the weekends once they get divorced? No, they need to have some of that drudge time just like mothers. They need to help with homework. They need to get them up early to try to get breakfast before they get to school. They need to try to bathe them at night. They need to feed them at night. They need to go to games and do all that other stuff we do. So as a lawyer, I advocated for that. I was like, this is ridiculous. What are you talking about, weekend dad? No, daddy is 24/7 just like mommy. And this concept that it's only mother's duty to do all that just never sat well with me. And so I started representing a lot of men, and I became known as the father's lawyers in around the city. And I took pride in it. I mean, I represented women as well, but I like family. I like the concept of family, and I love the concept of mother and fathers being involved in the lives of their children. So having noticed that, but society was talking about deadbeat dads. That's all you were hearing was deadbeat dad, deadbeat dad, deadbeat dad. They were just beating that horse to death, and that's when the law changed in terms of child support enforcement, where the district attorney's office set up a whole division just to enforce child support orders, and the law decided, well, if you don't pay, you go to jail. What foolishness is that? So if I don't pay, I go to jail, and I go to jail, there's no income coming in, and they really going to suffer. So that's
not only that. Now I have a record, so it's even harder for me to get a job.
It's even harder to get another job to pay. It's just circuitous. It didn't make sense to me. So anyway, I said, I am so sick of hearing this about deadbeat dads, and they're beating up our black men. And I know there are fathers out there that are doing some wonderful things. So I started honoring unsung fathers. I started in my backyard honoring the men in my life that I knew were great fathers. Someone suggested, my niece, that I take it to the community. So I took it to the community. Then it was suggested that I form a nonprofit corporation and make sure that I could get corporate funding and all of that support. So that's what I did. So we honor men in our lives in the 5 categories, like you said, the solo dad, and believe it or not, I believe in marriage, I believe in relationships, I believe in all of that. But there are so many fathers now that we don't realize it, who are the primary caretakers for their children. I saw one out the other night when I was out to dinner, and I could tell by the way he was holding that baby and by the way he was paying so close attention to the baby and playing with him and all of that. I was like, that's a new daddy over there, and I bet he's a primary daddy. And so I got nosy, and I asked, when I was about to leave, and he said, yes, this is my daughter, my daughter, and 6 months old. And yes, I'm primary. And the grandmother was there. The paternal grandmother was with him. And I told my family sitting with me, I said, he's the daddy, she the grandma. You could just tell by
you can read
it. And
you can, yeah.
And then the next category is the married father, of course, living in the home and with his children, creating a great environment and being actively involved. All of these men are actively involved in the lives of their children. That is the criteria for everybody. The next category is the divorced father. We call him fatherhood forever, because I want people to understand that you divorce the mother, not the children. You never divorce your children,
That's
regardless.
Right. That's
so this
right.
fatherhood forever. Then the next one is the village dad, because unfortunately there are those families, there are people living who don't have a man involved in their lives. The natural father is not involved, so someone else has stepped in and is stepping into the shoes of that natural father. And the last category is the living legacy. This is a man who's been married to the same woman 45 years or more. And believe it or not, that still exists. Last year, that was the category that got the most nominations.
Wow.
There
nice.
are many, many men out there who meet that category, and people don't realize it. 45 years with the same woman. Yes, it happens. It can happen. It does happen.
It happens. Yeah, it does happen. We just, if it's not a problem, if it bleeds, it leads. If it's good, we ignore it.
That's right.
So how long have you been doing this now, Judge?
This is 23 years, I believe. Wow. This year, 23 or
Imagine
24. I lose
all
count.
of the people whose perceptions of fatherhood, particularly black fatherhood, has changed just simply from going to the awards, knowing about the awards, the nominations.
And we've been blessed to be on television twice now. So,
well, you
with
throw a
Byron's
heck
show,
of a party. I mean,
Byron, with me being with Byron Allen, he he aired it on his station 2 years ago during COVID. It was aired on his station, the Grio, and it's been aired on clips of it has been aired on, I think it was KTLA. So anyway, we're getting national press, and my dream still is, and I won't give up on my dream, is to have my awards show, Huff Awards, televised. Honoring unsung fathers, televised.
It sounds like you're on the way.
I hope so. It
sounds like, I mean, but
it's a great award show.
It's also, you got great entertainment.
Yes.
I mean, Michael Collier's the host. You got
Vicky Winans is coming this year. Yes, and she's going to do both comedy and gospel singing. You know her.
Wow.
Oh my God, she's the hoot. She's a riot. She is so entertaining, and it's all about bringing the family together, honoring fathers, and awarding scholarships to our high school students. Donnie McClurkin is coming again. Chaz Shepard, he's a great young man who is so talented. He'll be there. And, of course, Michael Phillips and his band, and Renee Lawless. And we're still adding to the list of our celebrity presenters.
It's always amazing. And there's a great band. So it's like a jazz brunch thing.
Right.
So you don't have to be nominated. You don't have to be get an awardee. Anyone can bring their dad.
Anyone, just bring your father out for a great afternoon celebrating fathers. And it's on Father's Day, June 15th. Mark your calendars at the Long Beach Hilton Hotel. And I choose Long Beach. It's been a great city for us because the parking is reasonable at their hotels. So when you talk about families, you can't pay $60 to park and the money for the tickets. So I keep all of that in mind. So we're in the city of Long Beach at the Long Beach Hilton Hotel, June 15th. You can get your tickets from our website. You can register and buy your tickets now. The website is HuffAwards.com. I make it easy, as opposed to
That's
the
H-U-F.
Mablean Ephraim Foundation. That's too much, and it's going to misspell my name, and I can't take that. So Huff Awards, one F, HUFAWARDS.com.
Yeah.
That makes it easy for you. Log on to that.
Talking with Judge Mablean Ephraim. We're gearing up for Father's Day. See, we're not ignoring it. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
And it's wonderful for you because you usually bring me on after Mother's Day, but again, we're setting the pace. We're going to enjoy Mother's Day on May 11th, and we're going to enjoy Father's Day on June 15th.
Yeah, in fact, I'm emceeing a big concert that's happening for Mother. You should come.
Who? Gladys and all of them?
She said Gladys and all of them. Heather Hutt is presenting the, and others, but Heather,
that's this weekend, right?
It is no, is it this weekend? No, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend. Don't scare me. I'm emceeing
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday, May 10th, with
Right.
D Nice, Leela James, 1500 or Nothing, and more being added.
I thought about, when I saw that in the newspaper, I said I should go, but it's a big crowd.
It's going to be fun. Go to
Okay.
ilovemom.eventbrite.com. Okay, Judge
Okay.
Mablean Ephraim, Dominique DiPrima, KBLA.
And now I'm in Heather Hutt's district. I've moved into her district. I love
Welcome
her.
to the 10th.
Yes.
Talk
Thank
15.
you so much.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Pasadena City College is proud to support Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr. For over 100 years, PCC has been a pillar of the community, and we're here for you as we work together to recover from the Eaton fire and rebuild Altadena's future. At PCC, we offer diverse career education programs that prepare you for in-demand jobs, fueling both today's recovery and tomorrow's growth. Whether you're starting a new career or advancing your skills, PCC gives you tools to build your future and your community. Pasadena City College, here for the Dena, here for you. Learn more at pccfordena.com.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
You know, when I first heard about the Huff Awards, Judge Mablean Ephraim is here in the studio with me. Tap in on YouTube, KBLA 1580. I thought it was based on, you know, I think it was Chris Rock, the routine where he says we don't appreciate fathers.
Right.
Nobody comes home and says, "Thanks for the lights, Dad. Thanks for keeping the lights on."
And that was the concept, is that we don't honor fathers. We again, and it's because society just simply didn't see the role of fathers as a parent the same as we see the role of mothers. And that's the mistake that's made. And so that's why the children don't honor father, and the mothers don't honor fathers, and fathers didn't take their roles as seriously because they felt so bad. When they come to my event, it's like, oh my God, I've never felt so much love. I've never experienced this. And it makes them so happy. And that's what it's all about. Everybody likes to be loved, and when you're and appreciated. And when you say to Dad, I appreciate you, and I'm going to give you something other than a pair of socks because Mommy told me to go get you a pair of socks, then that makes you feel better. to sit there, all those fathers and families having a nice brunch and enjoying the music and just being celebrated. Oh, we do roll out the red carpet. You know that, right?
Yes, indeed you do. I have attended. It's HUF, by the way. Kwamel Allah is asking if you're associated with a clothing brand called Huff.
Not at all.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But now, do you think it's getting better for dads? Is it getting better in the courts? Is it getting better in the perception?
It's getting better in the perception, and it's getting better in the courts because, again, remember I said, I have 47 years fighting the good fight. And at the time, it was dads every other weekend. That was just a model custodial time every other weekend, Friday through Sunday. Now it's more of shared custody because that's what life is. You're sharing those children no matter what.
Right.
And so they should be able to go to dad's house after school some days, go to mom's house. They should be able to spend some quality time with him during the week just as they do with mom. They should be able to have dinner with dad just as they do with mom. And the courts are recognizing that. And I think psychology and sociology is saying the same thing that I've been saying for years. I'm not a sociologist, not a psychologist, but I knew that it was better for those children to have a great relationship with both parents. And believe it or not, especially for little girls who have a great role model in daddy and who who has a father who appreciates them, who respects them, they're less likely to be disrespected, to be raped, to be mistreated, and to be victims of domestic violence than our daughters whose dads are the ones involved in domestic violence and never there for them, because we want somebody to love us. And the same thing for men. Men learn how to be men from watching men be men. And so when they have a father in the home, that's a great example of what a father should be and how a man should treat his family, his children, and his wife, then they become better men and they become better husbands. So it trickles down.
I mean, even though it's counterintuitive, it makes sense that for little girls, it's important to have the father present in their life, even if the divorce a separation has happened. Because if you've had a man tell you you're beautiful and had a man tell you he loves you in the form of your dad, you're going to be less impressed when some random guy comes along and says it.
Much less impressed.
Yeah.
And when you have one that calls you by your name and not by some other name, but that's another story with this rapping and music and stuff. They've really got, I'm so sick of the music calling women out of their name. And it's interesting, they call the women bees and whores, but you never hear them calling men out of their...
Well, I mean, we can do a whole show on that.
Yes, we can.
I mean, there is some of that, the back and forth of battling. I mean, famously, Kendrick Lamar just called Drake a pedophile, for example, which nobody wants that. It's actually a criminal. But the point is, maybe we'll do a show on that one day. I digress. What about in terms of the enforcement piece, in terms of men being jailed or having their passports taken, rendered unable to work because of child support bills, which pile up and up and up and up?
Well,
is that changing? Can it change? No.
I don't think the law has changed with respect to that, but enforcement, it's important for fathers to learn that they need to pay child support. And guess what? Mothers have to pay child support too. When in divorces, you do, because it's based upon income of both parties, not just income of one party. So in a lot of families, women earn more than the men. And so at divorce time, women are paying child support and they're also paying spousal support. So, I mean, really, seriously.
Is spousal support going to be a thing of the past soon or no?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it's going to be a thing of the past because it's based upon spouses, not man or female. Right. Because now you're recognizing same-sex marriages as well. So they'll be divorcing as well. So it's
for now. I mean, who knows what this administration is going to do?
Well, they're trying to stop that, of course. But no.
So it's whoever makes more after a certain period is going to be paying the other one. Like I said, ask Halle Berry. She's paying out a lot of money. It hurts my heart.
She is? For spousal support?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But we have to think about that when we choose our mates. We have to think about that. All of us, women and men. Men have to think about it when they choose. You know, men get excited and they want a woman who is not working. They want a woman who's going to be there to answer to them and do everything for them all the time. They want a woman who's of less status than them because it feeds their ego better. But when it's time for the divorce, you better think about it.
Yeah.
You want someone who doesn't have a degree? Think about it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's, Halle Berry pays Oliver Martinez $8,000 a month in child support and 4.3% of any income she makes above $2 million.
I'm going to tell you something. If that had been me, I would have stayed married.
Really? Cheaper to keep
I would
him?
have stayed married and living separate and apart. I would have stayed married. I would have never filed for divorce to pay somebody $8,000 a month. When I go to work every day and I got to give you $8,000 of my money and you don't do anything and you're able-bodied person, no.
Well,
but there's ways she can get around that because you can do what's called vocational. You can get a vocational test to determine what his vocational acumen is and what he's able to earn and what he could be earning, but for the fact that he chooses not to. And then the support is based upon what he's capable of earning and not necessarily what he's actually earning. Because a lot of time people won't earn when they know that they got it coming in.
Right. Might as well sit back.
That's right.
Wow. Morris wants to know, am I paying? No, I'm not paying. My former husband makes way more money.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I was in that position when I divorced.
Really?
I was in that position where I could have been Halle Berry and I could have been paying spousal support. But this is where women, we act on emotion more than reason as a general rule. I chose to think financially what was in my best interest as well as emotionally what was in my best interest. My ex-husband and I lived together in the same household for 5 years, living separate in separate rooms because I wasn't about to leave him and file and pay spousal support, and he wasn't about to leave me. I was like, whatever. We'll live separate lives, but I knew that I was earned more, and he had had a terrible accident and was on state disability, so he had legit can't earn money, and I just couldn't see myself giving him a check every month. I probably would have been one of those not paying support and would have been arrested.
Got your passport ticket.
Yeah,
wow. Well, I'm glad it didn't turn out.
But no, I worked it out. I mean, you got to think. So we just lived together until he decided, I don't want to be with you no more. And he got him another woman. And he said she was better than I. And she earned more than I. No, she didn't. But she gave him more than I would give him, etc. And she treated him differently. And he didn't have to work. And she took care of him and chose to do that. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
To be continued, Judge Mablean. Thank you so much for coming in. Judge Mablean will be back. Meanwhile, June 15th, you can go to the Huff Awards. Go to huffawards.com. Tavis Smiley is up next. He's got an incredible Hump Day show on deck for you. And yes, he is locked, loaded, and ready to go. Don't forget, you can tap in with me on social media. I'm at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. Please like, follow, and support. Talk Smack. We're on all those social media platforms at KBLA 1580 as well, and love to hear from you. Appreciate your follows, your likes, and your downloading the app. Like my mama used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Former North Carolina NAACP